Pandas are one of the cutest mobs in Minecraft, but they're a bit more complicated than you might think. In this video, I'm going to cover everything there is to know about pandas. Let's check it out. Also, very few people who watch my channel are actually subscribed, so if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload in the future. Now, pandas love bamboo, so you'll find them spawning in the most in a bamboo jungle, but they can also spawn in other jungle variants. Only about 5% of them spawn in the game as babies, so generally you'll be seeing adult pandas. Baby pandas follow their parents, are playful, and even sometimes sneeze. Now what's kind of interesting is that baby pandas have a very small chance of when they're sneezing to actually have a slime ball be spawned in, and you can see them roll over there too. And so what's interesting is if you have a large amount of baby pandas, you could technically make yourself a very inefficient slime ball farm, although it is only a very low chance of them dropping a slime ball when sneezing. And one more fact about panda sneezes: when a baby panda sneezes, or even an adult panda, all the pandas around it will jump up into the air, which is kind of an interesting functionality. Pandas are always hungry and love to eat bamboo. If you right click on one with bamboo, or drop a piece of bamboo on the ground, the panda will pick it up and begin to eat it in a very cute animation like this. But what's even cuter is the fact that pandas also love cake. So if we place a cake on the ground like that and it picks it up there, you can see, it will actually start to eat the cake. And it's a really cool animation of the panda eating the cake. Cake and bamboo are the only two things in Minecraft that pandas like to eat, but it is kind of cool to give it to them and see that animation. Now you may think of pandas as a passive mob, but they're actually what's known as a neutral mob, which means if you hurt them, they'll hit you back. So if we hit this panda once, it will hit us once with one attack, but it will not hit us after that, so we can kind of go up around it. It's not going to hit us again, but you could see its one attack does have a very potent amount of damage. So for instance, if we bother this panda too much, it could definitely kill us. Now if you are an absolute monster and kill a panda, they do always drop 1 or 2 pieces of bamboo, depending on if they're in their inventory, because pandas actually have an inventory. It's quite interesting. They have one inventory slot that they'll hold cake or bamboo in if you give it to them, and so you can see because I gave that panda a cake, that's right here, and then it dropped 1 piece of bamboo because every single time a panda is killed, it will drop 1 piece of bamboo. Now something you might have noticed is that not all pandas look the same. In fact, there's 7 different variants of pandas, and I'm going to go through all of them right now. First we have the normal panda. Unfortunately, this panda has no unique functionalities, but of course all the normal functionalities of a panda, such as maybe eating cake or hitting you once if attacked, are present in this standard panda. Next we have the lazy panda. Now, the lazy panda likes sitting on its back like this. It kind of has a little bit of a smile on its face there. The lazy panda is so lazy you can literally move it around when it's on its back like this. It is sometimes upright too though, and when it is walking it's so incredibly slow, it's literally the slowest land animal mob in the entire game. Also, because they're so lazy, if they're on their back like that instead of walking around very slowly, they will not even follow you if you have bamboo in your hand. However, they still will eat bamboo if you right click on them with one, just like this. They'll become upright. If you right click on them with it once, of course they'll enter love mode, but right clicking on them with it again, they will start eating the bamboo. Now what's interesting is when the panda is on all fours like this, if we grab a piece of bamboo to make the panda follow us, it literally does move so slowly, you can totally tell why it is the slowest animal in the entire game of land. In fact, this panda is so lazy, it doesn't even want to get up, but if we get it to get up, you can see how incredibly slow it is following us right there. And that's how the worried panda functions. But what about the other types? Well, next we have the brown panda. Now the brown panda is the rarest type of panda, and these can be very hard to find naturally generated or even from breeding other pandas. But they are kind of interesting because they have this cool brown texture. In real life there's also brown pandas that are a little bit of a separate type from the kind of black and white pandas like that. But other than their different color, they function the exact same way as your standard panda, like the one we got from this right here. So they function the exact same as this normal panda here, they're just brown. Next we have the weak panda. Now these pandas sneeze more often as babies and can also sneeze as adults. Also, they only have half the health of normal pandas, but other than that, they're about the same as the standard panda. But as you can see on their texture here, they kind of have some runny nose, and just overall they look like they're kind of sick. Also, it's interesting looking at their eye texture. I used to think they had blue eyes, but they don't. I think that's actually supposed to be some kind of thing in their eyes, because you can kind of see the panda eyes. Okay, it doesn't want to show me its eyes, but you can see over here that it has its normal eyes up there, and you can see see it kind of has little bits of things in its eyes below it like that. The next type of panda you'll want to watch out for, because this is the aggressive panda. Now of course it has these kind of bushy eyebrows and an angry expression, with its mouth kind of looking annoyed as well, but it also has some different functionalities to it. So unlike normal pandas, if you hit it once, it will not just hit you back once, it will hit you back again and again until you're dead, or until you're out of its radius of attack, which is a very far distance. Also, if I hurt a nearby panda like this one, then the aggressive panda will get angry at me. And although it is quite slow, its attack reach is similar to that of the player, so it can be very hard to hit this panda before it comes and kills me. But they do forgive you if they've killed you once, sort of like zombified piglins. Next we have the worried panda. Now the worried panda has these sort of tamed dog looking eyes, and what's interesting about the worried panda is that if we go into survival mode, it'll actually avoid us as the player, so it'll actually kind of run away from us. It's basically scared of us, the poor thing. Because it's the worried panda, it'll also run away from most hostile mobs, which is quite interesting. As well as that, if it's a thunderstorm, and we'll just do that right now, we'll just do weather thunder, just like this. What'll happen is the poor scared panda will get so scared of the thunderstorm, so what'll basically happen is it'll go onto its back, and I think it's glitching that it's moving right now, but it'll actually cover its head like this with its hands, and it'll kind of shiver if we look at it closely. You can see that the poor thing's kind of shivering, and it's covering its face just like that. Whereas all the other different types of pandas don't do that. The worried panda, which is also this type over here, the only other difference between the worried pandas and other pandas is that if we try and feed the worried panda by just placing a piece of bamboo on the ground, the worried panda won't actually pick it up. Because it's worried, it'll only eat if you feed it yourself. So if we do feed it, of course it will start eating the bamboo. But if we just place some bamboo on the ground around it, it will not just pick it up and eat it. Now for the last panda variant, which is the Playful Panda, and you can see here the Playful Panda loves to roll over. It has this hilarious expression with its tongue pointing out just like that, and overall they're kind of one of the funnest varieties of the panda. Now of course they do love to roll over, but they also jump around, and the only problem with these guys is that they love to roll over so much, they will sometimes roll over right off of a cliff. So if you're transporting these, be careful, because they are often known of killing themselves that way by accident, as when they roll over, they don't check to see if there's any blocks in front of them they can land on. And what's interesting is that Minecraft pandas have a very unique mechanic to them, and that is genetics. So every panda has a dominant and recessive gene, sort of like people do in real life, and I won't go into full detail with this, but what is quite interesting is that with normal pandas, that means they either have normal panda genes, or they have mixed genes of either the brown panda or the weak panda, because the brown panda has to have both the dominant and recessive genes be brown for it to be a brown panda, and the weak panda needs both dominant and recessive genes to be a weak panda. So what I mean by that is, let's say you bred a weak panda with a weak panda, but one of the weak pandas had a normal panda gene, then the chance of that normal panda gene carrying on would be more so. And I know this is a little bit confusing, but more or less that means that you want to make sure that when breeding pandas, if you want to get the brown or the weak type, that you breed them until you find a panda that only breeds more weak pandas. That means both genes would be weak. So for instance, this aggressive panda may actually have a playful gene recessive, and when it passes that on, it could be 50-50 of dominant or recessive, but dominant means that's what you actually see, recessive is the gene trait you don't get to see. Whereas let's say that this aggressive panda's dominant gene was weak, but its recessive gene was angry, it would still be angry, because the weak gene is weak, as well as the brown gene being weak, which again means that those two types of pandas are a little bit harder to get a hold of, and can also mutate, like every single panda gene. So when you breed two pandas, there's a 1 in 32 chance that the baby panda's genes will mutate to be any type of the pandas. That's often how you'll actually get a brown panda, is basically through luck of breeding a bunch of pandas that are not brown. You can eventually, after breeding pandas hundreds and hundreds of times, get yourself some brown pandas. You can also find these sometimes naturally generated in the bamboo jungle and in other jungle variants, but overall they are quite hard to find, as unlike the weak pandas, which do have the weaker genetics, they also are extremely hard to get a hold of. But how do you actually breed pandas now that we know about their genes? Now pandas have a mechanic that's present in no other animal in the game, and that is they need certain blocks nearby to be able to breed. Let's lead both these pandas over here by holding the bamboo in our hand and get them far away from any placed bamboo down in the world, let's say right over here. Once over here, and they do walk very, very slowly, we'll right click on both of them with bamboo, like this. They'll both enter love mode, but they'll shake their heads. Well, why is that? How do you actually breed these? What we need to do is have at least 8 blocks of bamboo within 5 blocks of the pandas. In fact, now that we've done that, they instantly entered love mode and have now had a baby panda. And a really cool fun fact about pandas is that all the cute sounds that they make are sounds of real pandas. So when the developers made the update that included the pandas, which was 1.14, they actually had a special crew go to some zoos that had pandas in them and recorded all these different sounds from real pandas and then incorporated them into the game. And so it's kind of cool to think that when you hear your panda in Minecraft make these cute sounds, those are real sounds that a panda made. And that is everything there is to know about pandas in Minecraft. If you enjoyed this Minecraft mob guide, feel free to press the like button, subscribe to see more content like this, share this video with your friends, comment down below whatever you'd like. Also, feel free to join the official iCraftMC Discord server, Reddit, and follow me on Twitter. I will see you in the next video, and have a great day. Goodbye!